in your latest work, 416 and 905.
Right.
And I wonder here if we can talk about, again, the inefficiency, if you will, of the Liberal vote. They're going to do great in Toronto, and New Democrats in Toronto, I know they're worried about holding their seats, places like the Beaches, where Matthew Callaway is going to try and win again as a New Democrat. But great, the Liberals are back in Fortress Toronto, but it seems to me the New Democrats and Conservatives, they're trying to be a little more efficient outside Toronto. And that makes Ontario a really interesting place to watch.
Well, the first time in my lifetime, and actually the Conservatives have an efficient vote. We used to always talk about the fact that they had a very inefficient vote because they did so well in specific parts of the country, for example, like Alberta. But right now, the problem the Liberals have in Atlantic Canada, where there isn't a lot of seats, they do really well. In Montreal, where there isn't a lot of seats, they do really well. In Toronto, where there's a lot of seats, or isn't as many seats as they need, they have a lot of votes, and they don't, and they're not going to generate a lot of seats from that. So the national polls are somewhat deceiving on that. They make the Liberals look more competitive than they are. To really equal the Tories in terms of seats in the next election, they're probably going to have to lead them in the national polls by about 3 or 4 points.
Again, that's just because they're so heavily concentrated in Montreal, Toronto, where they could do well, and there's still lots of seats, but not enough to get you to the next level to government.
Yeah, they're seat inefficient.
Seat inefficient. Well, that makes perfect sense. Now,